Dr. Karan Singh ji.
Good, good. Very good. Very good.
The Vice Chairman, sir. Somebody described me, I think it was Somnath Da, as a witness to history. I have spent 70 years watching, participating in and witnessing developments in Jammu and Kashmir. And I find it difficult on this occasion to find adequate words to express my grief and anguish at what is happening there. जैसे बहादुर शाह जफर का शेर है, बात करनी मुझे मुश्किल अभी कभी ऐसी तो न थी, जैसी अब है वहाँ महफिल कभी ऐसी तो न थी. This time there has been an unprecedented outburst of frustration, of rage and of anger. Shri Ghulam Nabi Azad, in his effective opening speech, has made many points which I do not want to reiterate. He's mentioned several factors that have been responsible over the years and the decades to build up this sort of resentment. But what has happened there, the grievous deaths and injuries to hundreds of people, they are our citizens. If young people are blinded, our young citizens are blinded. We have to have some compassion and understanding. Whenever there's a small accident, 2 or 3 people die, we get up and say how sorry we are, we send our condolences. What about what's happening in Kashmir? Is the nation awake and aware of the immensity of what is happening there and of the depth of the frustration and pain of the people? We've got to share that pain. If we say that they are part of India, then India has got to share the pain and the frustration and the rage that is there and try and see what can be done to look into the matter. The LOP talked of the use of disproportionate force. If that has in fact happened, Mantriji, then it should be inquired into, because that is also not acceptable. Sometimes force has to be used, but disproportionate force is surely something which cannot be condoned. So that has to be looked into. And as I said this time, the youth particularly and the intelligentsia in the valley are alienated. The presses have stopped printing. The newspapers are not coming out any longer. There's been a curfew for 10 days. Can you imagine what it would be like to live for 10 days without being able to go out of one's house, even to get medicines or to get essential commodities? And it is going on. Marriages have been put off. Apart from marriages, funerals. The whole situation has become such that the entire valley is in the grip of some kind of a terrible crisis. And I'm not sure whether we fully understand or appreciate the depth of this whole affair. Now I know Pakistan will obviously fan the flames. Pakistan ने तो शुरू से किया. 1947 से, before my father signed the instrument of accession, even before that Pakistan had intervened with the tribal invasion in October of 1947. And it will continue to do it. It has done it all through. But simply to blame everything on the foreign hand, I would submit to this Honourable House, is being unrealistic. We have to accept that we are facing a serious problem of trust, of credibility in the valley. A very serious problem. And that problem has to be tackled, and we have to look within. आत्मनिरीक्षण करना भी बड़ा आवश्यक होता है. हम दूसरे पे आरोप तो लगा सकते हैं, लेकिन आत्मनिरीक्षण करें, बैठ के सोचें क्या कारण. देखिए, हमारा देश सत्यमेव जयते पर निर्धारित है. वो हमारा राष्ट्रीय वाक्य है. सत्यमेव जयते नानृतम सत्येन पंथा विततो देवयान येनाक्रमन्त ऋषियो ह्याप्त कामा यत्र तत् सत्यस्य परमं निधानम. तो सत्यमेव जय पे अगर निर्धारित हमारा देश है, हमें सत्य को कभी कभी कड़वा सत्य भी लगता है. सत्य हमेशा मीठा नहीं होता. It's not always a comfortable truth. Sometimes we have to face uncomfortable situations, and we are facing that today. And we have to start. There's only one way we can face it. You can't face it with a war with Pakistan. You can't face it with guns. You have got to face it with dialogue. In a democracy, The only way you can get over the most difficult of problems is through dialogue. But it must be a dialogue that cuts across all barriers with all stakeholders. Remember, there are stakeholders not only in Kashmir, there are stakeholders in Jammu and Ladakh also. The name of the state is not Kashmir, the name is Jammu and Kashmir, the state which my forefathers created and for which my father signed the instrument of accession. Is not only the Kashmir Valley. Kashmir Valley is an important part of it, but there are stakeholders in Jammu, there are stakeholders in Kashmir. Within the valley, there are mainstream political parties, there are regional parties, there are even separatist parties. You must talk to them. After all, without talking, how can we come to any kind of conclusion? To say we are not going to talk, we are not going to talk with this and we are not, that is no way. Even Mao Zedong, as you know, said, ta, ta, tan, tan, talk, talk, fight, fight. You must continue to talk. Even at the height of the Second World War, Germany and Britain were still talking. And we go into a sulk. We're not going to talk to Pakistan. We're not going to talk to the separatists. We're not going to do this. That is not the way to tackle it. We're a great country with a large heart and a great history. And we have got to talk. You've got to have this dialogue. Over the years, sir, there have been many attempts. I'll draw particularly Rajya Singh ji's attention to this. Kitne hue? There have been conferences. There have been round tables. There have been interlocutors. There have been a whole slew, a whole series of attempts. But what happens? They are never followed up. एक बात चलती है, बात होती है, then हवा में रह जाती है. Nobody follows it up. Do we have now the political will? And I'm not talking in terms of parties. This is not a party affair, as Ghulam Nabi said when he opened it. He said, we are not looking at this in a partisan manner. This is a national crisis. It's a national challenge. Do we have the political will now? Can the Congress and the BJP and all the other parties, the socialists and other parties, regional parties, can they help? I'm not sure whether a parliamentary delegation by itself will really be very helpful, क्योंकि सब जाएंगे अलग-अलग 15-20-30 parties हो जाएंगे फिर अपनी बात करेंगे. I think you have to have an empowered group of 2 or 3 people who will really follow this up seriously and take it to some logical conclusion. There are many ideas. We all have many ideas. I can talk for hours on what ideas can be done. But is there anybody who's listening? Is there anybody who's prepared? We were also, I must admit, we were in power for 10 years, the Congress. We had many initiatives, but nothing happened ultimately. We are frozen with the status quo today, which is really not acceptable either to the valley or to Jammu or to Ladakh. Everybody is dissatisfied in the state. You go to Jammu, there's the same thing. Ghulam Nabi ji knows. The youth come there and say, what are we going to do? We are uneducated. You go to Ladakh, they have got their own problems. So we have got to do something serious about this. If you really want to avoid this situation in the future, and if you want to calm the situation down now, which itself is going to be very difficult, we've got to break away from the old molds of thinking, and we've got to move towards a new dynamism, a new commitment, cutting across all differences. And sir, Derek is gone now. He spoke of the soul of Kashmir. I'm talking now only of the Kashmir Valley, that beautiful valley, more beautiful than any place in the world. And yet look at the situation today, it is burning. Those chinars are on fire. It was a heaven on earth at one time. Are we converting it into a hell? What are we doing? So the whole soul of Kashmir is the home of rishis and Sufis. It is the home of Lal Ded and Sheikh Nuruddin Nurani. It is the home of Hazrat Wal and Kheer Bhavani. It is the whole of Amarnath and Chirare Sharif, of Chhati Padshahi and Sharika Bhagwati, who are on the same hill on different sides, whom Makhdoom Sahib and Sharika Bhagwati. So that is the soul of Kashmir. The soul of Kashmir used to be the unique culture, the unique Rishi cult, the Sufi cult. And that today is being destroyed by hostile forces from outside, by propaganda, by brainwashing of young people. How do we meet with that? How do we address that problem? That's the challenge before us. It's a challenge before all of us, particularly before the government in power. And my submission to the House is this: let us on this occasion while conveying our deep sympathy to the people who have been, to the lives, whose lives have been disrupted by all of this. And the nearest of kin of those who have died, those who have injured. Let us send our deep sympathies and let us commit ourselves in this House to make a final effort to break this deadlock in Jammu and Kashmir and finally move towards a mutually acceptable solution. Thank you, sir.
धन्यवाद.